Hey folks, welcome back to another episode. Today what we're going to cover is everything technical about Street Fighter. So we have a couple pages of terms and glossaries and inputs and how to do everything, and I've taken a lot of time to kind of take everything I found online, all the useful information about Street Fighter, and just jam it all into one place. So this video might get long. I'm going to try and go quickly and try and pass through everything we can. So I hope you enjoy it. I hope it's a useful reference, and I hope a lot of people can kind of jump into the game and keep making good stuff from this. So let's start off with some normals. Alright, so normals are pretty easy. What you're going to do is, most people probably already know this, but I just wanted to cover them anyways. You just have your light punch, medium punch, heavy punch, light kick, medium kick, heavy kick. These change depending on how you're standing, if you're crouching, jumping, neutral jumping, all those kinds of things. They're really important, so try and learn how to use them, but just be aware that those are your three of each kind, and then you have your triples, which a lot of people just actually push all three, but those push all three inputs at once. With normals, the heaviest input you push will come out, so if I push a heavy kick and a light kick, that heavy kick's going to come out every time. Alright, now next what we're going to cover is lingo and cancels, kind of all in one. So online, one of the tough things for new players is trying to read how everything's written out. Often you'll see a cr.mp xx soul spiral, and understanding what that even means can be difficult. So what I'm going to show you just really quickly is cr.mp stands for crouching.medium punch. So that would be crouching medium punch. Now the XX actually stands for cancel, and what that is when you use a regular move and you cancel it into a super or a special ability. So you crouching medium punch and soul spiral. That is basically just a quick input. You just do the regular move, the crouching medium punch, and then you kind of cancel it into the next move. Cancels just mean that you input that ability before the first move is done, and it'll actually stop it and then cancel into the next ability. Alright, so next we're going to cover inputs. Inputs are just very simply the way you spin the joystick for your special moves. Now, certain special moves have different ways of inputs, but we're just going to cover the really simple basic ones here. So we've got the QCF, the quarter circle forward, is just when you go down, down towards, towards. The same input can be done backwards, down, down, or down, back, backwards. And then when you get a little more complicated, you have to do the half circle, which is towards, down, down, back, and then back. The same thing happens with the half circle forward, so it's HCF, half circle forward. That's how it'll be written if you're looking it up online. Now the other thing I wanted to cover really quickly is that Zangief is a perfect example of this. He has a full 360 motion on his inputs for his grabs. Now, you don't actually have to do that. You only have to hit 7 points, which means you start with forward and you end with up back. Now, if you try to just hammer out the full 360, you're probably going to jump because it's gonna do one of these, and then you're going to jump and slap the air. If you just do it really quickly and you only hit that back up point as your last one, you can actually do the grab right off the ground, and you won't leave anywhere because you only hit 7 points and you haven't actually held up for any period of time before you do the punch command. So it works a lot like a lot of up punch moves like Balrog's headbutt or something along those lines. So that should cover inputs. Next thing we're going to cover is EX and Ultras. Once again, I know this is kind of the basics, but we're going to get a little more complicated real soon. So the quick and simple way to teach you an EX move is a regular attack, you don't glow, and you use one input. So I just use a light punch to do Zangief's green hand. Now the EX input, you can use either the triple or you can use a double. So if you hit 2 punch buttons, you'll actually kind of light up yellow and it gives the attack different properties. The other thing that can be done is Ultra moves, which is you use the triple punch buttons, which is also Zangief's Lariat, or you can just slap all 3 buttons at once. And basically to do an Ultra, you use the triple inputs, and that's going to pull out your Ultra moves. So that's how you do those moves where it says do all 3 kicks. You actually legitimately use all 3 kicks or all 3 punches. Alright, the next thing I'm going to cover is buffering attacks. Basically what this is you can buffer a long input with a short input. I'm using Akuma to illustrate this because he's actually got a great little low kick that lowers his hitbox. So it actually protects him from overhead attacks by lowering his hitbox. And so the reason you'll do this is you'll drop down and then you buffer his Ultra, which is a punch, and then a light kick and heavy punch. That's a lot of inputs. So what you do is you buffer it with this low kick, and then you hammer out the ultra while that kick is coming out, so that you've input 5 different things, but you only see one come out. I don't actually play Akuma, so this is kind of foreign for me. Okay, the next thing I'm going to explain is charge characters. Basically what a charge character is a lot of the characters have inputs that need 2 seconds of charge time. This can either be down or back. Once you've charged for 2 seconds, you hit forward, hit your punch or kick or whatever, and the ability will come out. The other thing you can do with charge characters that a lot of people don't know is charge buffering. What that means is you can actually, once you've charged and you shoot the attack out, you quickly hammer back on the joystick and it starts to buffer your next charge so you can shoot out abilities a lot quicker. I'm just going to quickly show you how to do this with Guile and his Sonic Booms. So if I want a lot of Sonic Booms to come out so I can play the same Fireball game somebody else can do, use charge buffer by hammering back really quickly.
Sonic Boom! Sonic Boom! Sonic Boom! Sonic Boom!
There you go. Alright, the next thing we're going to cover is super armor and armor breaking properties. The main attack that has super armor is focus attacks. So you'll see Dan here is using a lot of focus attacks. Now what that means is that he can absorb 1 hit. So if I hit him while he's using a focus attack, he's going to absorb it and hit me back. Now what armor breaking is certain special abilities can break through this armor. So you see Balrog's upper dash punch, used with his low kick down towards, actually punches through super armor and gets the connecting hit anyways. Alright, the next thing I'm going to cover is grabs and command throws. Now, grabs are just your typical light punch, light kick, and it grabs your opponent. These go through block. The other thing to know about grabs that's kind of interesting is that you can whiff grabs if the opponent is in a aerial or recovery state. So basically if someone's jumping, you can't grab them. Also if they're recovering. So if you try and do like a jumping kick, immediately grab, see how that first grab whiffed through him? It doesn't do anything. So the other type of grab you've got is a command throw grab. Honda has his Oicho throw. These command grabs actually have different damage properties, range properties, and they break through what you can normally do on a grab, which is a tech. Tech means that you both push grab at the same time, and it actually cancels the grabs out. Command throws cannot be teched. You have to either jump or backdash to avoid a command throw. Alright, the next thing we're going to cover is overhead attacks and cross-ups. What a cross-up means is that you're going to hit them on the opposite side. So basically Dan, if he wants to block right now, is going to hold left. What I'm going to do is I'm going to use a cross-up attack so that he actually has to hold right to block it, which means Rose jumps over him and does like a kick on the other side. You see how that hit on the left side? That's a cross-up attack. An overhead attack has similar kind of mix-up properties, where you jump and as long as you're in the air, the attack hits high. So Dan can't block when he's crouching like this. Overhead attacks can also come in the form of standing normals and specials. So you need to watch out because a lot of characters have kind of tricky attacks, like Makoto does a karate chop, Balrog has a dash punch which punches overhead. So if you're just trying to hold down back and win the game that way, you've got to watch out because the better a player gets, the more likely they are to use some cross-ups and overheads to break through your defense. It's also a really good tool to use offensively, so make sure you know that one and learn how to use it. Okay, the next thing we're going to cover is knockdown or sweeps and untechable knockdowns. Basically, a lot of things that knock you over in this game, you can quick rise, which means you tap down as you land and you'll jump back up faster. Untechable knockdown means that you can't quick rise from that attack. So Ken's going to knock me down a few times and I'll try and show you the difference between the two. So Shoryuken, I tap down, I get up very quickly. A sweep on the other hand, nothing I can do. Alright, the next thing we're going to cover is stun. It's a pretty simple thing, you just have a number. Every character has a stun rating. Usually it's around 1,000. Anything less is considered a little bit low on the stun stamina or stun absorption. So basically stun is just what builds up as you get hit. As someone combos you or attacks you, your stun rating goes up. Every attack has a stun value that it adds. Once you get hit, you get stunned, at which point in time most people are going to focus attack, and then do a little combo or whatever from there, and then your stun value kind of goes up after that. Usually you're never ever going to see more than one stun in a round, but if you get stunned, it's kind of a big deal. So try and remember, if you're getting hit and pummeled a lot, try and block and play defensive and let your stun meter go down. If you swing a couple times and then they block, your stun meter will actually roll back down to 0, and that happens during the match as well.